Hi. I know the lighting's bad. Don't even give me crap about that. It is 11:46 at night on Saturday, the 24th of June, 2017, and I decided to do a series for this channel. It's going to be called Exhausted Thoughts. I am experiencing the exhaustion that comes with having fibromyalgia, and I was sitting here and my mind was just wandering into like weird places, and I was like, what scares me? What places on the earth scare me? What things scare me? You know what gives me this utter feeling of panic is the thought of what's like in the deepest oceans. What is in the thickest jungles that we haven't discovered yet? People are always looking to the skies for like aliens and things like that. I mean, what about what's here that we don't know about? You know what I mean? Um, as a child, I was extremely fascinated with cryptoids and or cryptids, and like when I went to the library, other kids were checking out Dr. Seuss, which I actually did check out Dr. Seuss. Let me change that. Other kids were checking out things like Judy Blume, things like that. Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, Tolkien, things like I didn't check those books out of the library. I checked out books out like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and all kinds of other things, and about ghosts and supernatural stuff. I was always fascinated with all that weird stuff, and I think that you see videos all the time now where these people things that you can't explain. Now, most of the time they're hoaxes, they're setups and things like that. But sometimes there are things you just can't explain that you see in this world. And I've had moments like that, and I think everybody's had moments like that where they've seen something they just couldn't explain. And I actually just love that creepy stuff. But I do things like the deepest oceans and the deepest jungles do give me this kind of feeling, because like, I mean, there could be things in either of those places that could be our destruction. There could be diseases. There could be monsters. Like sailors used to talk about the Kraken, and everybody thought, oh, that's just a myth. Sea monsters are a myth. But then we discovered the giant squid, which can be pretty freaking big. And imagine if you're back in the day before the internet, before television, before any of that stuff, and before we knew much about, a lot of the things on this earth. We knew so much less about the things on this earth. And you see a huge, giant squid. To you, that looks like a sea monster. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Once you have fact-based knowledge about something, once you have encountered it and you understand it, it's no longer scary. There are so many things that even in my lifetime at 47 that we didn't know about, we didn't have, you know. Oops, I hit a button. I remember when I first started hearing about the internet, for example, and it was to get a computer to do the internet with was super expensive, and the fees were expensive for internet service, and it was all just like wow, and the internet was nothing in those days. There was so little to do then online. We had chat rooms. We ended up with chat rooms when people started getting home computers, and people started doing the internet thing. And now you can pretty much find anything, anyone, any particular thing you have an interest in. You can just Google it. And if you're interested in more darker things, there's the dark web, which is something I would never mess with. Because, oh my gosh, I fell down a hole on YouTube of dark web stories. And the thing is before the internet, there were things like snuff films and stuff like that. And I knew about that stuff. And so, what goes on the dark web? Well, some of it's let's be just illegal. It's just illegal drug sales and stuff. No big deal. Prostitution, that kind of thing. No, I don't mean just, but I mean, like, compared to some of the stuff, some of the stories, and some of the things I read about. And I've been watching this documentary show, Dark Web, and there's some stuff on that I saw, and literally anything that you could want, no matter how dark or how bad, you can find it, is my point. And things like that scare me, the fact that there's that out there, and there are people seeking some extremely dark things, and they will find those dark things. The fact that that exists in the world is another thing that scares me. And, the fact that there are people that are willing to do certain kinds of things that think people go looking for in the dark web is just disturbing, But, human nature, not human nature, but human behavior. Human behavior is something that I've always liked to observe and just kind of watch and suss people out. And I've gotten very good at sussing people out now. I'm very intuitive about people. And there's so much darkness in people. And sometimes it's self-destructive. Sometimes it's destructive on other people. The thing is the human psyche can be twisted so bad. And unfortunately, everything that happens to us forms who we are. And some people are formed in a very twisted and very messed up way. And that scares me because you have things like serial killers and spree killers, and the things that humans do to each other is appalling. But at the same time, every time I hear about someone who's done something horrible, and then I hear about that they had a really messed up past or really messed up childhood or whatever, their parents were horrible to them, or monsters basically, I feel bad for them. I don't justify anything they've ever done, but I feel bad for them because they became what they were formed into by those things. And then if you have someone that's had just a good life, a wonderful life, they can become incredibly wonderful people, Human behavior, human psychology, it's just fascinating. But it also, when you start delving into that kind of stuff, you can find some scary things sometimes about people. There's somebody right now who's on a manic, crazed hate fest on somebody who I don't even really care for that much. It's a YouTuber I don't care for that much. Sometimes he makes me laugh, sometimes he makes sense, but most of the time I'm just like, stop, please, stop. But they have someone that has just gotten so fixated on him, and by fixated I mean this person has made 80 rage-filled videos about them in 6 months. 80. I don't know how that breaks down on an average, and there were gaps where they were obsessing on someone else too, but they have this perception that this person is basically the scum of the earth, and that their spouse is basically this poor, pathetic, abused person, but also extremely weak and worthy of being mocked for having anxiety issues. And then they claim they have fibromyalgia and that they have all this fatigue and pain. Yet, I'm going to tell you right now, with me having fibromyalgia, I would not be able to keep up the energetic, wound up, kinetic pace they are at making videos and doing live streams and all that stuff about this person that they just have become obsessed with. They've become obsessed with them. That's all there is to it. And this person is, I can literally have been so angry with this person for doing what they're doing because the people that she's attacking have kids, or at least one kid. I think there may be 2 kids. I don't know. I don't delve that much into the personal aspect of this person. But, I'm thinking about the fact that, people are copying stuff that she's doing, and it's all over the place. And one day, this person's children may see it and be tainted by it as far as they feel about their parents. Or others will know about it and see it and bully the kids. And I just... This person is the most bitter, angry, fixated, entitled, condescending human being I have ever seen on YouTube. And I give most people a pass on things. I'm like, okay, I'm laid back about it. I accept most people. It's hard to get me to really think that you are not right. And this person is not right. I'm just like, why put something so negative out in the world when you could use all that energy you have to be positive? And also, why say you have fibromyalgia when it's obvious you don't? Why mock someone for having anxiety to the point that you literally are mimicking in a mocking way things about them that come out of them from the anxiety that you are causing? That's another thing. One person, it's a couple, but it's primarily the man this person is fixated on. The spouse has anxiety, and the guy has depression, a history of depression. And this person is just hammering on these 2 people like hard. Like it's not a hammer, it's a battering ram. And it's just... No one I've ever known who had fibromyalgia, and I've known other people with fibromyalgia, could maintain that kind of kinetic, manic pace that this person is keeping. So I'm insulted by it, by her saying, I have fibromyalgia, and then running around like Tinkerbell, basically. And none of the stuff she's talking about, except for pain and fatigue and some brain fog, is even falling under any symptoms that she says she has of fibromyalgia. And some doctors used to be prone to, if they couldn't figure out what was wrong with you, just saying fibromyalgia. And because it was, just a tag that went on a lot of stuff that people couldn't explain, that doctors couldn't explain. But now there are things that they can do to determine if you truly have fibromyalgia. And I've had 5 different doctors do that to me and tell me I had fibromyalgia. There's no actual test to run, but there are forms of examination and intake of information that will tell them that. But yeah, doctors used to just stick fibromyalgia on anything they couldn't find. If you were saying you were in pain, and you were tired, and you were this, and you were that, and you didn't feel well, and it was, some vague symptoms that are also the symptoms of a dozen other disorders, but you tested negative for those disorders, they just stuck fibromyalgia on it. And it may be that she had a doctor do that to her, because the stuff she's talking about that also goes with it, that she's also having that she's lumping in with the fibromyalgia aren't fibromyalgia symptoms. There's something else going on with this person, in my opinion. I mean, that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. But I don't feel any hate towards them or any rage towards them. I just want to. I want them to listen. I want them to wake up and realize what they're doing. They are messing with the family. She is actively doing things to trigger the depression and anxiety that exist in these two, and to cause problems in the relationship, and to cause problems in their ways of how they make an income. And I think that's really messed up, because regardless of what you think about the couple, there's still kids involved. You know what I mean? So yeah, this falls under, the reason I'm bringing it up is because it falls under observing human behavior, and sometimes the human behavior observed makes me just want to be done with people. I'm just done with humans. I'm gonna go live in the country with 1,000 cats and 1,000 dogs, and I'm done with humans. I've had one of those weeks where I've been done with humans all week. But, oh well. Well, okay, I know the lighting was horrible, and I'm kind of shaking with the camera because I'm holding it, but I actually like this, so, I'm gonna make this a regular thing, and call it Exhausted Thoughts. Have a good night. Bye.